welcome to That Geeky Gal. My name is Gracie, and today I'll be showing you how to make that Stranger Things shadow box. Okay, so Stranger Things. I love it, and I'm pretty sure most of you love it, and I'm so hyped and ready for season 4. I love everything about Stranger Things, from the 80s feel to the monsters to the creepiness to the horror, everything about it I just really enjoy. So I really wanted to make a project that was Stranger Things themed, and I wanted it to have some of the elements that reminded me of the show. And so I went to the dollar store and I found a coin box or a bank, and I thought, what can I make out of it? And so as I was searching through Pinterest and stuff, I saw some of these custom shadow boxes, and I said, maybe I can make something like that. And so this is going to be what I'm making for today. So let's get started. Remember, links for everything will be in the description box below. Okay, I got this coin box at the Dollar Tree. You're gonna need some cardstock paper, 5 sheets, a pencil, an X-Acto knife, a ruler, and a light source. I got this at the Dollar Tree too. I'm also gonna use a cutting mat, some foam poster board, a gel pen, my glue gun, and some tape of your choice. Okay, when I saw this coin bank at the dollar store, I immediately thought I have to do some type of shadow box or something with it. So in this case, we're gonna make a paper craft type of shadow box. Now, the first thing that you need to do with this coin box is you have to remove the backing. It was a little bit tough for me to get out of it, but I was able to do it. Next thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and remove the wording that this box has. Some of them have different wording, and I thought it was going to be so much harder, but it was as easy as just scratching it off. I grabbed my ruler, and in 1, 2, 3, all of it is gone. Alright, so set that aside. Now, we're going to go ahead and grab the backing of that, and we're going to measure it out. The dimensions on this are a little bit weird, but it was pretty much almost to the 6 inches. It was a little bit more than 5.5. So what you want to do is you just want to go ahead and trace the backing onto some of that cardstock. The cardstock that I bought was 6x6, so this was a perfect size. Now grab your X-Acto knife and cut that out. When using an X-Acto knife, you want to use a cutting mat, because if you don't use it, I learned the hard way, you will cut through anything that's behind there. And make sure you use your ruler too, because that'll give you a nice clean edge. So I cut that and remeasured it, and it looked like I was still having some edging on it, so I went ahead and just eyeballed it. I cut off a little bit more, and then just checked, and it was still a little bit too big. Remember, you want to cut little by little. If you cut too much off, there's no going back and you have to use a brand new piece of paper. Now, I used 2 different pieces of paper to show you what I'm going to do next. One of them, I went ahead and folded in half so I can find the middle point to where that paper is, because the dimensions are a little bit off and I didn't really want to use a lot of math to find the half. And I'm doing that so I can use my ruler to make a straight line across. Because what I'm going to do next is I want a 4x4 grid on my paper. So I did that one time. I turned my paper, found the half point again, and created another straight line with my ruler. So I used those 4 quadrants to help me draw what I wanted as my first cutout for my shadow box. And this is how I did it. I used my phone and I enlarged certain images and I traced around them, because I'm not that really great at drawing sometimes, and I was a little bit lazy, but I learned this in design school. And all you do is you just project it and you trace around it. And I used a little bit of piece of tape to keep my paper in place. And it worked out perfectly. And these are the images that I used, one for 11, for the middle Stranger Things logo, and for the Demogorgon on the bottom. So this is my image, And I went ahead and I made a border, and I'll put the dimensions of how big the border or how thick the border should be, and do that on all 4 sides of your paper. So I wanted 11 to be on the top, and I wanted the Demogorgon on the bottom upside down, just like he is in the real show. So grab your X-Acto knife and start cutting. It's a little bit hard to get used to the X-Acto knife at first, but you will get used to it. And in 1, 2, 3, I have it all cut out. And this is what our second layer is gonna look like. I was thinking at first it would be the first part, but no, it's the second. So grab a new piece of cardstock paper, and we're gonna use our cutout as a guide for the sides of how much we're gonna cut off, and use that as a template for our next layer actually. Again, grab your X-Acto knife, and in 1, 2, 3, we have it cut off. Okay, so I'm gonna use my cutout to guide me for the next layer that I want in the back of this image. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lightly trace, not everything, but like the sides, and kind of have an idea of where 11 stands and where the Demogorgon stands as well. And this is what it's going to look like. And we're going to use this and draw our next images. So I have the Mind Flayer on the bottom and the 4 boys, and those are the images that I used to trace with the same method as I showed before. And here it is, all cut out. You want to make sure you cut off everything. Now this is going to be my next layer behind that. On the top I put some forest, and on the bottom some lightning. And here it is all cut out as well. This one was a little bit more tedious to work with, but I was able to get it done. And that's the images that I used for both of those. This is going to be my top layer. I wasn't going to make a top layer, but I decided it kind of needed it. So what you do is you grab all your layers together and you hold them up against the light just to see, to make sure that everything you can see through. Now, because I'm going to cut out the middle, I decided that I couldn't see everything. There was pieces of the Mind Flayer that I couldn't see, so I just traced a smaller or bigger around, you know? And here it is, all cut out. And this is what it's going to look like. So we have our top layer, and then 11, and then the boys. Okay, so now we're going to grab our foam board. And I'm going to measure out on the foam board so I can make straight lines, and I'm going to need a couple of these. In total it was going to be 12, but I only showed you 10. So this is what you're going to do now. Now we need to go ahead and erase all of our markings that we have, everything. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4, ready to go. Now for the Stranger Things, I went ahead and drew it really dark. And I'm gonna go ahead and erase, but not completely erase it. I wanna have a guide, because the Stranger Things logo, I'm actually gonna color in with this Paper Mate ink gel pen. So first I'm gonna trace. Once it's all traced, I'm going to color it in, and this is what it's going to look like. And here it is. Alright, so now we're going to grab those sticks that we made of poster board, and we're going to go ahead and glue them to the back of each of our layers. I'm going to use my hot glue gun. Make sure that if you do have markings, the markings are going up. That way you don't get to see them when the light shines through. So on our first layer, we're only going to put 1 on each side. On the layer with 11 and the Demogorgon, we're going to actually put 2 on each side. 2 pieces of poster board. And you can see right there, there's one already. And I'm gonna glue down a second one. The layer that has the Mind Flayer will also have two, and the layer that has the forest will only have one. So make sure that your coin bank is nice and clean. Now the coin bank has a hole, so make sure the hole is upward. That's going to be the top of our box. You're going to put in your first layer, your second layer with 11, the third with the boys. Now, I made a mistake. Make sure you're putting everything in the right order. The boys should be on the top, and then with the one with the forest on the top. And then I have another piece of cardstock paper, but this one is just blank, and this will be on the back. Just like that. Now, grab your string lights. I got these at the dollar store, and you're gonna string them through that little coin hole. I used a little bit of tape just to keep it in place for the next step that I'm going to do. Okay, once that's ready, I'm gonna grab the back of the coin box and I'm going to start taping down my lights. This is where I use the clear white masking tape. Turn on the lights and that way you know where you need to place the lights. So once all my lights are in place and taped on, I'm just going to put my box back. Now for this, I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue the battery pack. Make sure you're hot gluing the back of the battery pack where you don't need to open it in case you need to replace the batteries. And then this is super easy. You can either hot glue that piece down or do what I did. I just used some masking tape to hot glue it down. And here it is. This is what it looks like now with the lights turned on. And this is what it looks like ready to go in my daughter's room. This project turned out amazing. I love the way it looks. My daughter has lights in her room, and this is what it looks like with red lights and blue lights. This project was really fun to make. If you decide to make this your own way, go ahead and tag me on Instagram at thatgeekygal. If you want to see more geeky stuff like this, please comment. Let me know what you want to see next. Subscribe, share, all of that stuff really helps me out. Give me a like, you guys. I'm just starting off, and I would really love to show you guys some more stuff. Thanks for watching, you guys. See you in the next one. Bye.